All right. Good morning, everybody. Still waiting for a few people, but I'm going to go ahead and get started here. I don't want to delay things any longer. But first, I want to say good morning. Thank you so much for coming to the first of our 4-part webinar series. My name is Billy Hackett. I'm the new Flight Control Plus manager. My plan is to talk about a new topic each week to help you make more money in Goose Control using Flight Control Plus. I hope you can make it to all 4 of them. Right now, I do have your microphones muted. At the end, we'll have time for some questions. I will unmute your microphones then. And if you have any specific questions about your company or business, I'd be happy to try to hang on afterwards and talk to you about it, or we can set up a time to discuss later. But today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why Goose Control is an exciting and expanding market and how you can better position yourself in it and make some good money using Flight Control Plus. But before we begin talking about marketing, I want to review a little background information about geese to explain why it is such an exciting opportunity. Despite being on the brink of extinction back in the early 1960s, the Canada goose population has exploded over the last 20 years or so, as you can see on the chart. There's an estimated 14 million geese in North America, with 8 million Canada geese living permanently in the United States. Geese can be found in all 50 states, some obviously worse than others. But despite about 3 to 4 million geese being killed each year from natural predators, hunting, and natural causes, their population continues to spiral out of control. Some of the reasons for the explosive growth with the Canada goose population is that they were federally protected by the Migratory Bird Act. It is illegal to pursue, hunt, take, capture, or kill Canada geese without a federal permit or a waiver. But one of the biggest reasons for the explosive growth is that geese are among one of the most highly adaptable bird species. They have gradually moved out of their once natural habitat, which was some rural areas and fields, and they've moved out of these areas where a lot of hunting was happening and they could find their natural predators. And they've moved into the suburban and urban areas, away from the natural predators, away from the hunting, and they're enjoying all the well-manicured grass that a lot of people pay good money to have. Geese do cause a lot of problems. Here's a couple examples of just real quickly of some of the most common conflicts that geese cause in our lives. The top left here, this is a picture that you might have seen. It went viral earlier this year. It's a goose attacking a high school golfer up in Michigan, I believe it was. Geese can be extremely aggressive, especially when they're nesting and trying to protect their goslings. The top right, that's a picture of what can happen, how geese can completely destroy a property through feeding. One goose will eat up to 4 pounds of grass in just one day. And the bigger problem is that when they eat all the good healthy grass, it allows the weeds and other unwanted vegetation to prosper. Without the competition of the healthy grass, the other bad stuff can take over. On the bottom left there, that's a picture of the most grossest and most common complaint about the geese, and that is their poop. One goose will leave up to 3 pounds of droppings in one day. Their feces contain dangerous parasites and bacteria. E. coli and salmonella are the most common. But goose droppings are unsightly, unsanitary, and just plain gross. On the bottom right here is a picture of a typical scene at a park or a place where geese live in abundance near water. Their droppings can contribute to the algae blooms, and it causes unhealthy water conditions for people and other wildlife. Depleting the water of oxygen can even be deadly to the fish and other aquatic life. But almost all of the problems that we have with geese is related to the sheer volume of the number of birds. A small flock isn't too bad and wouldn't cause too many problems. But because all geese return to their place of birth every year, a small flock of 10 geese can turn into 100 geese in just a few short years, which can cause some real problems and real issues for your property. So if you want to get into goose control, you have to spread the word about it. The biggest obstacle that we hear with flight control use is spreading awareness about a product the product in itself. You need to recognize that customers who have a goose problem have most likely tried something in the past to get rid of their geese, and what they've tried has probably failed. So because things like sound machines and lasers and fake predator decoys, because stuff like that doesn't actually work long term, a lot of people may be skeptical that there is a product out there that will be 100% effective at stopping the geese from feeding on the grass. So it's important that you're able to inform and educate your customers about the service. But promoting yourself is the biggest key to a successful goose control program. Geese cause very real problems for a lot of people, as many of you hopefully know. But Flight Control Plus can help solve their problems. As an applicator, you and your team should definitely be on the lookout for evidence of geese at properties that you service. If you're a lawn care company, and the number one way to tell if a goose has been on a property is their droppings. You may not see geese on a property when you arrive, but if you see droppings, you know they've been there. If you should train your team members or your staff members that if they see droppings, to try to upsell the service, ask the customers if they have a goose problem, and let them know that you offer a solution to those problems. If you're a pest control company, same thing. Just as you would see droppings from other animals that you're trying to control, if you see goose droppings, ask the customers if they have a problem. But you have to let them know that you have a service, because most people definitely won't think to ask for it. Since not a lot of other companies offer goose control, offering it can help set you apart from the competition. Depending what type of business you're in, again, if you're a lawn care company, you can offer total property management. If you're a lake restoration company, you can let the customers know that once you clean their lake, you can also keep it clean by preventing the geese from hanging out around it. And again, don't be scared of smaller properties. They can definitely lead to some big business. I've seen firsthand how taking on a property at a neighborhood around a pond can lead to, if you get one property, can lead to the neighbor signing up and that neighbor signing up. And it can definitely be a good stop from what was once just a small property. One thing that can definitely help in that regard are door hangers and neighbor referrals. But door hangers are something that we've had applicators tell us they've had success with when they do visit these smaller properties. They can hang on doorknobs or mailboxes of the other people with geese in their backyards and pick up some customers from that. So one of the things that we're going to give you today is give all the companies that are attending some free door hangers. We'll just have to get your mailing address so we can send them out to you, and hopefully it helps you market your service. All right, so how do we get there? How can we get your goose business booming? And the first step in that is to have a good online presence. And not just an online presence, but a very effective online presence is key to the future of pretty much any business that you could be in. There's 87% of consumers begin searching for new products and researching solutions online. That number is up from 74% last year, and that number is only going to keep increasing every single year as people become more and more dependent on machines. So it all starts with a good website. It doesn't have to be the fanciest website in the world, but just a good, easy to use, one that looks good, it's eye-catching. That is very important to customers nowadays, and again, definitely in the future. Since 87% of people are finding you for the first time online, you definitely need to think of your website as what's often going to be someone's first impression of you and your business. Websites don't have to cost a ton of money to build, but they definitely need to look good and work well and let your customers know what you're all about. What I like to tell people is try to think of your website, what's on your website, as if you were the one actually searching for the problem. Again, a lot of people don't know to ask for goose control services. So if they get to your website and it doesn't even mention flight control or goose control services, they probably won't think to ask for it. It is important to make sure that you include keywords on your web pages that you think customers would actually use to search for your product and services. So because so many people are searching for stuff online, ranking high in a Google search is very important, ranking on the first page or two. And one of the quickest ways to do that is to include words on your actual phrases on your web page that you think people would use to search for your product. So it's not just enough, if you're a lawn care company, to just have a tab that says, goose control and explains what flight control is and how it works. But you should actually write something like, have a phrase on your webpage like get rid of geese in southern Indiana or Indianapolis or something that someone would actually type into a search engine. That way your business, your company is more likely to show up on the first page of their Google search. And that type of stuff is very important for getting new customers. Another thing that's really important nowadays are Google reviews. These are huge. Again, a lot of people are finding you for the first time online and they want to see good reviews. It's customary nowadays to even ask your current customers to write you a 5-star review. It's very normal, and it's your customers, assuming that they've had good experiences with you, which hopefully they have, they should be more than happy to do it. You could offer your customers a discount. Just say, leave me a 5-star review on Google, and you can take 20% off your next service or application or something like that. But again, that's oftentimes the first time someone's seeing you, and it gives you more credibility. The more reviews that you have and the more positive reviews you have, the higher you rank in a Google search as well. So if you're competing with a company and you have 20 good reviews and they have 2, yours is going to show up on top of theirs, even if you're in the same area. I do want to talk a little bit about social media. Social media, I would bet most of you probably have some sort of social media, which is great. But you got to make sure you're using it the right way and using it most effectively and trying to connect with your customers. Social media today is just as important as having a good website. Depending what generation you're from, it may not seem that important to you having social media, but I guarantee you it is important. And it's definitely important to your customers and especially your future customers. So the people who will be using your services in the next 5 to 10 years will be people that grew up on social media and they expect to find you on it. Experts suggest having at least 2 of the major platforms, 2 accounts of all the major platforms, which would be Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Google Plus, or LinkedIn. The more the better, but definitely trying to have at least 2 of those accounts. They all serve a different purpose and they work in different ways. And I'm not going to talk about how they work, but just that you should look into trying to get them. I know if you're not into social media, having a lot of accounts can seem very overwhelming, and it definitely can be. But you should think of social media as just another business tool, something that you check off your checklist every single week that you need to get done to make your business run. It's that important. Just 1 hour a week can go a really long way to creating a good online presence. Experts say that typical customers nowadays are, before they sign up for service, a new customer is looking for 4 to 5 different points of contact with your company before they sign up for service. So a point of contact would be them visiting your website. So you're looking for a positive experience with that. It could be them sending you an email and a nice response, a phone call, or a visit to any of your social media accounts. But the typical consumer is looking for 4 to 5 positive points of contact with your company before signing up for service. So that would be, it's because that they're getting more familiar with your business, you're building trust, and it means they're more likely to become a customer. So one program that I've used, which I've been successful with in dealing with social media, is called Zoho Social. There's a free service to it. There is a paid subscription, but you can also get a free service to it. It's a program that you log into and you can link all of your social media accounts into one place. So you can log into Zoho Social, post a picture of something, and it will get sent to all of your different social media feeds. So it's kind of like one-stop shopping for social media. It's really easy to use. I highly recommend trying it, especially if you're trying to get into using more social media. It just makes everything a lot easier to use. Again, it's called Zoho Social. Okay. So once you do get online and you have the social media accounts, it's important to try to connect to your customers in the best way possible. You definitely want to always try to play organic videos, not links to videos. You want to try to show as many pictures of your work as possible. People love seeing pictures of work, and it's a great way for you to show off your good work as well. But before and after pics are huge. They get a lot of engagement. If you're a goose company, you can take a picture of all the geese that are on a property before you show up, and the next time you do your second application, take another picture of the same property in the same place and show them side by side online. Stuff like that really shows customers not only how your product works, but it gets them to know that you're involved. If you're a pond restoration company, you can take a picture of a pond when you show up on the first day and it's gross and algae and stuff, and then take a picture on your last day how it's beautiful. And again, people love stuff like that. Lastly, email marketing is an often unused form of marketing, but it's very important. Hopefully you are using some sort of email marketing, but if you're not, I'm betting that most of you have almost all of your customers' email addresses on file, which is great, and you should definitely try to use that to your advantage. If you're not already doing something like this, Constant Contact is another program that is a great way. It's an email marketing program, which is not that expensive. If you're a smaller company, they charge you by the number of email addresses that you have. So if you have less than 500 email addresses, you can pay as little as $17 a month to use the services. It's really easy to use, but it's a great way to market to your current database. I highly recommend trying it. You could, when you email blast your customers, you can advertise or highlight certain services like Goose Control, Flake Control. You can offer discounts to your customers, referral savings. You could do a promotion like get a free application of Flake Control if you refer a new customer who signs up for a yearly contract. Something along those lines can really go a long way. We have a gentleman in New Jersey that we've been working closely with, and he was looking to get into Flake Control this year. And before going public, advertising publicly on his website, he wanted to know what type of response he was going to get from his current customer database. And only through email marketing just sending email blasts to his current customers. He signed up, it was 15 different people for accounts for 2019, which is a lot of gallons of flight control. So he was really excited about that, the opportunity that presented itself just from email marketing. And the best thing about email marketing is it's pretty much free. Again, it's not a huge monthly fee, but there's a big return out of it. So we want to help you get started with flight control and help set you up for success with flight control. One of the things that we do is we'll help you along the way as much as we can. We will add you as an applicator on our website. If you haven't been to our website, you should go check it out. There's an applicator search function. We have all kinds of customers that get to our website looking for solutions to their Goose problems. They can enter their zip code or their address, and it pulls up a list of local applicators to them. So I encourage you to go on there, type in your zip code, make sure your information is listed there is correct and it's up to date. If it's not, let me know, and we can go ahead and change that. If you have multiple locations, we can add all of them, just so it's easier for the customers to find you. Since we know that for most companies, flight control and Goose control is probably just one small aspect of your overall larger business, we're happy to help you with marketing and advertising as much as possible. We have flight control brochures that we can give to you free of charge, and you can distribute accordingly to prospective customers. Our companies, they're trifold brochures that talk about what flight control is, how it works, and why it's effective. But you can hand them out. Our company's information is intentionally left off of them so that you can write your own information in or staple a business card to it. I'd be happy to help work with you and your staff, your team. If you have a customer service team or a marketing team, sales team, I'd be happy to have a webinar with them to talk about flight control and help educate them on it so they can answer any questions they might have. If you have a team of technicians, I can talk to them about tips for application to make sure they get the best results. But whatever I can do in that regard to help you out, I'd be more than happy. One thing that we've been doing, we just started doing this year, which we've had great success with so far, is creating custom videos and commercials that you can use to advertise flight control on your own. With these, what we do is we take your company's logo, or we can add your company's logo to it, a tagline, phone number, website, whatever information that you would want on them, and we can give it to you to post to either your website or social media accounts. What I'm going to do is play a quick video for you guys so you can see it. Hopefully this plays. I've been having a couple issues with it. But as I mentioned earlier, I definitely recommend adding flight control or Goose control services to your website. Again, people won't know that you offer it unless you talk about it. So these videos are perfect to put on your website. They're even better to try to share on social media feed like Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. What I suggest doing is post a video, encourage your followers to share the video themselves. If you can get just 10 or so of your followers to share the video, it could generate hundreds or even 1,000 views. And it's just a way to get free exposure and free advertising, free marketing for your services. So again, we can add your logo to it, a tagline, whatever you want to at the end. But we've had great success with these, and we're happy to do these for you. We have about 6 different videos you can choose from right now. You can find them on our YouTube channel. I'd be happy to do all of them or one of them, whatever you'd ask for. I'd need you to send me your logo and whatever information that you'd want on the videos yourselves. So I encourage you to commit yourself to offering Goose control services. It's an easy and profitable service for any size company. If you try some of the methods we discussed today, you could increase your sales because there's a huge opportunity for Goose control. I'm going to open up now to any questions that you may have. In the background, I'm actually going to play our custom video library in the background here. I'm going to mute it. They all have music, but I'm going to mute it so it's not distracting, just so you can get a sense of what we're doing. But I'll unmute you, and if you have any questions, please let me know. All right, hopefully this is going well. This is actually my first live webinar, so I'm hoping I unmuted you guys correctly. Well, if there's no questions, I do appreciate all of your time coming here today. Again, we'll be doing these each month with a different topic. I'll be sending out email notifications about what the topics are, and hopefully it's ways to help you increase your sales with Goose Control using Flight Control Plus. But thanks again for your time. I really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Billy, I got a quick question.
Sure.
This is Joe Tortola with the Goose Doctors in Canton, Ohio. Good morning.
Hi, Joe.
Wanted to know, you mentioned earlier about getting the door hangers. I would be interested in some of those. What would be the procedure to get those?
I actually just need your mailing address. We're going to mail them to everyone who is here. We probably have your mailing address on file, I'm sure. But I'll email the people here at the presentation. I'll get your shipping address. We are planning to customize them with your company's information, not just a generic we do Goose Control thing, but it'll actually have your company's name on it. So we're going to send, I believe, 100 door hangers to all the people here today. But yeah, I'll send an email to get all the information that you'd want on the door hangers. But I'll get in touch with you about that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right. If there's no questions, if there's anything I can help you with personally for your business, I'd be more than happy to help. You can get in touch with me any of these ways here. And thanks again for your use of Flight Control. I hope you have a great year. Thanks, guys.